Hey y'all, I told you that I'd walk you around my yard, so I hope you enjoy it. Spooky. What do you guys think? Ghost leaves? Or probably a spider web? So I know I showed you guys the flowers yesterday, but it was late and dark, so I just think they're so beautiful. And I love that mums are not very expensive usually at the stores. And this year I found some, I think they call this ornamental kale. And I forget what these are called. I planted those earlier. But this is what I do. I just kind of play around with planting different things. And I love little fun decorations like these little ceramic mushrooms. And yeah, this is my new roof that I had installed, and I like it because it still allows sunlight to come in, but it blocks off the rain, and simple but nice. I'm pleased with it. And I don't know if you guys have heard of, these are called loropetalums, and they come in different colors, but the purple loropetalums are beautiful, and they actually can get huge. So I had several of these, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 at a house a couple of years ago. Well, actually, it's been about 6 or 7 years ago now. But they get huge, and I just think they're beautiful. So there's an idea for you if you are into gardening and you need some kind of a decorative bush. Just look into the purple loropetalums. And this is an area that I really need to tend to. This is, pick this up, I don't know where this came from. This is an area that my grandmother just kind of left wild. This used to be her sitting area out here in the yard. And so she left it kind of wild, but there's all these wildflowers that grow. And apparently these are called blue mist flower, something like that. But they're really cool. They're beautiful, and they bloom every fall. And personally, I get really excited. I know a lot of people just kind of go a little crazy with their weed eating and stuff, but I love when I see baby trees growing. And so I'll probably let some of these baby trees grow up here, and the others I may transplant. So I've got an oak tree here that's growing, and got the little young pine, and this is a maple. It's already getting pretty big. I love maples because this is where you get all your pretty colors in the fall. And then this one, I'm not sure. Maybe like a birch or something. I need to look into what this one is here. I'll show you the leaves. I forget what they're called. But yeah, this is an area that I need to tend to really bad. And so that's what I'll be busy doing the next time I have the gumption and energy to get out here and work in the yard. And then this is just an old tree stump that I've left that needs attention as well. And sometimes you'll see some really cool mushrooms growing here. So here's more. I'm in the backyard now. Here's more of the mist flower, and then right behind that you see some fig leaves that have turned a gorgeous color, and a pear tree. So I just really enjoy nature, and I've got a cat on my foot. Hey, Chatter. Hey, baby. He likes to play, and he also likes to be right under my feet when I'm trying to walk. So he's a sweetheart, though. And I forget what these are called. These are natural. These just kind of spring up and grow, and they'll have like these shoots coming out of them. So I'll have to look that up and tell you all. Apparently, I used to have a little, I forget what you call it, like a little solar light here, and I took it down. Fuzzy's enjoying the softness of all the leaves and everything. And I don't know what this is, these little white flowers. I'll have to look into that. But I love, again, I mentioned earlier in a recent video that fall is like spring to me, and it really is. And I just love to see all the changes that come about in the fall. So I need to put my hammock back up here. I miss it. And just a little froggy birdhouse. I don't know if we can see if there's a little bird family in there or not. It's too dark, but this is one of the planters left over from my grandmother. I really love it. Just has a very storybook feel to it, doesn't it? Very fairy tale like. So, sorry, I think I just making sure I didn't get any poison ivy on me. I don't think there's any around here. So, got some friends. This is Cheddar. Hey, Cheddar. He's really relaxed right now, and I've got George with me right here. Hey, George. Hey, George. And then Cheddar got jealous, so he had to. Anyway, I believe this is a laurel of some kind, but the leaves are really pretty. They're spotted. And I've always called this a mountain laurel. I don't even know if that's right, but I looked it up, and you can't always trust Google. But I love the search feature where you can just upload your photos and it'll find matches online. And sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, but this mentioned that it was some type of a laurel. But yeah, let me know if you happen to know what this is. I just think it's cool. It doesn't really do a lot. It kind of looks like this year round, but it's cool. And then over here, well, first of all, let me get out of the way. I don't want my shadow in the way of everything. I love the moss. I do. I've got little patches of it all around. And there's just one little single mist flower. And I'm not sure what this is either. And it also doesn't really do a lot. But it's kind of cool. And I was looking it up, and it mentions something about a sweet shrub or allspice, and that you can crush the leaves and they'll be really fragrant. So we'll pick some and try it here when we go in and see what happens. And then this is one of my favorite features of this property. And I did not inherit this property, by the way. Another family member did, but it was a rental property for a little while, and he wanted to sell it. And just so happened that I was in the middle of a life transition, and actually, this was before that. He just wanted to sell it, and I thought it was a great opportunity. So that's why I'm here. And then after that is when my divorce happened. But anyway, this is still a functioning bell. You just pull the little cord here, and my understanding is that farms used to have a lot of these around the property, and that was just a way that family members could communicate to one another, So my great-grandparents had a small farm, and only just a few things that they would have to go to the store for to get. And so I don't remember the details of that, but I do remember when I was really little, my great-grandmother would cook fried pies, fried chocolate pies, and I'm just showing you the woods. I don't know. I just think they're beautiful. But she would make fried chocolate pies, and I remember she had canned sausage balls. And I'm telling you, the meat that's fresh from a farm is, to me, completely different than what you get in the stores. Just very, very different. But I love trees, and I love the dappled, I think they call it dappled light that comes through, uh, you know, in the shadows and the way it hits the ground. Just really beautiful. And I don't mind all the leaves on the ground. I do have someone that helps me kind of keep the property clean. It's not a huge property, but it's certainly enough for me. I don't need a lot, but I do have someone that'll come and help me keep the property clean, which is nice. And Japanese maples they're just the coolest, aren't they? I didn't think I was going to have any vibrant colors this fall because we had a little bit of a drought. And usually, if there's a drought before fall, all the leaves on the maples and like your standard maples and your Japanese maples that'll normally be like a really vibrant yellow or red, if there's been a drought, they'll typically just kind of dry up and fall off, and you don't really get a lot of color. But you can see the effects still with the leaves. They look scorched from the sun, and they are. They are. But they did still give me a little bit of color, which is cool. And then this tree here is, I'm not even sure what this is called. I've got some lights hanging in it, but it has these little, here we go. Here's a good example. Like these little thorns. And they're super sharp. They're like needles. But they're not, it looks like just broken branches, doesn't it? But even here you can tell. Let's see if I can zoom in. If it'll focus. I've got an iPhone, I don't know. Here you can see that, it's not something that's broken off. This is sharp enough to go right in if I were to press my finger hard enough. So it has these little briars or thorns, whatever you want to call them, all over it. And I'm not real sure what kind of tree this is, but I'm sure there's something good about it. I mean, it's pretty, and I don't come out here and just stick my hands all over it, so it doesn't bother me. It's probably some kind of a protective mechanism, to keep certain animals away from it, to protect it. I think sometimes we can kind of get like that too, huh? I've got a little container palm here, which probably needs to be put up before we have a lot of freezing temperatures, but it's going to be super heavy to move. So, but I just think they're pretty. And then this is, check out that rock. Just a natural, it looks small, but it's really huge. It's right on the walking path. But yeah, I believe this is a camellia, and I'll look out my kitchen window and watch the bees come out here and get their nectar. They love it. So it's also a fall blooming plant. So I just really enjoy that. And it's my grandmother's old swing. She loved, ironically, this color. She painted a lot of things out in her yard this color. It's like a light aqua. And you can tell also over here, same color on her planters. And I found a broken ceramic birdhouse that I just picked up and sat here, and then birds have built in it. So now I can't move it because it's a house. It's still functioning even though it's broken. But she painted that the same color too. So something we have in common. I love that color as well. Hey George. Hey George. Hey baby. Yeah. George is sweet, but he's a boy. Sometimes the boys like to scuffle and get in fights, and his little ear got in the way apparently, but he's okay. I've doctored it and he's alright. So, he's a sweetheart, aren't you, babe? Well, I was going to show you all the huge Joro web. Hang on a second. Is that a bird? Way up there. But this is all that's left of his or her web, apparently. So, I guess the wind got it. So I made it back in, and I hope you enjoyed that little tour of my yard. So I don't know what it is, but it's nature is so healing to me, and I think that when we are intentional about starting our day off the right way, as opposed to just waking up and kind of being in the position of waiting to see, kind of like we don't know, there's uncertainty, like I hope today's a good day. I don't know. But instead, if we just get up with that mindset of seeking the kingdom first, both in our mind and heart and even within our environment, I think that can make a huge, huge difference. And so anyway, I love fresh air, and I love just focusing on purpose, consciously, with intention on beautiful things. And so that's why I like to surround myself with pretty things. And so, yeah, I wound up picking up some pretty leaves off the ground and bringing them in. And some are too big to really do any crafts with, but I might just kind of hang them up or put them somewhere as part of some decor. I've got fake leaves in here too, but already hanging up. But I thought might as well pick up some real ones too while I'm at it. But one thing that I like to do is to just find leaves that are the perfect size to do something with. And there's a lot of people on YouTube who you can, look into what they do with their treasures, you might say, they find in nature. But you can just press this onto an ink pad or paint it, and then just kind of, rub your hand on top of it, or press it into a little art book, or journal of some kind. And so that's what I'm going to be doing when I'm done with my video. I got a little maple leaf here, and yeah, it's always fun. It's, I have found throughout the years, in terms of me having a background in art, it seems like, and I could be wrong, the general population, most people, don't seem to really have an interest in abstract art unless it's simply because the color spectrum or the color scheme used within the art is going to enhance their living space, just kind of go with their home decor. And that seems to be the only value, just with the general population. But in terms of art, as art, I think that it's more common to find people who are into realism. And the less and less and less real art seems to be, there seems to be a smaller and smaller group of interest associated with it. And so when you go all the way down to abstract art, just in my experience, there seems to be just a very small amount of people who have interest in abstract art as art, as opposed to just, colors that look pretty, with a particular color spectrum or theme in their house. But what's fun is if you're the kind of person who... So my phone ran out of battery. Sorry about that. But what I was saying is, even if you're not someone, I have to look at the other side. Now I got the camera over here. I'm used to looking over here. But even if you're not somebody who feels like an artist, so to speak, art or just creating in general, you don't even have to call it art or label it that, but just creating in some way can be so healing. And you know, there is I don't know what you'd call it, an industry, I don't know what the proper term is, but called art therapy, and there are art therapists, and it's something that I have thought about before. But what creating in general can do for you is, and it depends on how you go about it, but it sort of can be like a practice that you can incorporate in your life, that, and it doesn't have to be associated with meditation, even though sometimes the effects can be the same way, and I'm saying this from experience. But if you go about it not from a stance of wanting to create this perfect piece of art, if you go at it instead from the stance of, I'm just going to play and see what happens, then it's kind of like it can be a part of seeking the kingdom first, because you're allowing, just like, you know, nature does its own thing out there, even without us interfering. Just like that, your art can become in that same way. And you get to be, even though you're the one creating it, you're also a witness to it, to this becoming. And a lot of people reference this or call this art for art's sake, or this being a part of that. In other words, creating art for the experience of creating. And that is what can be so healing. And so I just encourage you, you know, you don't have to go out and buy, you know, an official book of some kind, but just use old scrap papers you have, you know, and even just paint that's, you know, marketed for kids. There's tons of really neat creative materials marketed for kids that are not very expensive. And I'm sorry I can't plug in my microphone. I hope that you guys can hear me because I've got my charge cord plugged in. Typically I have to plug in my mic, so I hope you can hear me. But yeah, just play around. I just want to encourage you to play and just see what happens, because for me, a lot of times there's some type of inspiration that will come from it. It's like getting to participate in the process of creation and also simultaneously being a witness to it. It creates something within you, within me, within us, that is encouraging and inspiring, and sometimes it gives you ideas. Sometimes you suddenly have this thought that's new and different, that gives you a different way to look at things, or an idea, you know, about what to do next in a certain area of your life, and it's fun. So it's so much bigger than just a tiny little boxed in label of like art journaling, you know, and stuff like that. It's way outside the box beyond that. So I hope that this is encouraging for you all. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be playing with these leaves here in just a little bit. But let's check out the little leaves I picked. And I could be totally wrong. This may not be a sweet shrub. They smell like nothing right now. So I keep looking over here. They smell like nothing. Let's just crush it and see. I'm going to break it open. Still, it doesn't smell like anything. Let me keep going. Maybe it's the wrong time of year. I'm just going to bend it and you can hear it cracking. You hear the crunch? It smells like nothing. So if you're a gardener and you know that I was completely wrong on my assessment or Google was wrong, then you can have a good laugh, because laughing is healthy too. But just a simple short message, hopefully just to give you some ideas and to encourage you, and I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I'll be back soon with another message. So have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you again very soon.